Hey everybody, Bobby Chu here. Nowadays, it's not hard to see this obsession with follower counts and likes. How many followers do I have is a concern that many people share. Which, this feeling in the past has been something that many people can relate to even before follower counts and stuff. Whether you were into popularity or not, you definitely knew about it. Then came likes and shares, which really started to change the landscape as well. People would start to draw different subjects in different formats just because of how many likes, followers, and shares they think that they would get. I noticed that epic landscapes would start to decrease because of this, that everybody was looking at most of their art through their phones. Before everybody started to look at most of the art through their mobile devices, they looked at them with monitors, which were much bigger and therefore would be a lot more suitable for epic landscapes. It makes me automatically be wary of the art that I do and the automatic strategizing I start to do because of how I think the audience will digest my art. Before Instagram, I very rarely, if ever, painted with a square canvas in mind. After Instagram came out, I started to make square pieces, think of ideas that would fit into square compositions. Then I noticed that Instagram allowed for portrait-sized images. I found myself immediately starting to make more portrait-sized paintings so that when people look at my art on their phones, it would take up more real estate and then they could see the art a bit closer. I don't like that feeling. I feel like these devices, while liberating in so many ways, can also be really restricting of our creativity if we don't notice and pay attention. When you think about it, before the mobile phones, you would think about your painting, and not just in that aspect ratio for your phone, but you'd also think about the size of the painting. Do you want this to be a really small painting? Or do you want it to be a really big painting? Or maybe a circular painting? Or whatever. People would experience the art live, and that means that you would have the ultimate three-dimensional space in order to design the experience that people would get. This still happens, but nowadays the device restricts the experience far more, which in turn influences us to paint a certain way about certain things. Of course, this doesn't stop anyone from still doing traditional art, creating exhibits, things like that. It's also not to say that we shouldn't think about how our art is being digested. We should. We can use these things to our advantage. However, I just don't feel like that should be the thing that really drives our creativity, especially if it restricts it in any way. The other thing to think about is, how come some really successful artists that are working on the biggest titles, the biggest projects with the most amazing people don't have as many followers as, say, a different artist on the internet? Is it really about how many followers somebody has? I definitely don't think so. It's also very much about the quality of the followers. Who is following you? Who's engaging with your art? You can see this a lot when you do some investigation. Oh, that artist is being followed by all these different directors or production designers and are constantly getting comments from those directors and other amazing artists. Many productions these days will go to places like Instagram, search their feed and see if they find any artists that fit what they're looking for before they go into other avenues like putting up job listings. Of course, it's not to say that having a big follower count couldn't be helpful as well. It just puts you into a different category. Now, this whole entire topic might be weird to say because I have just about 400,000 followers on Instagram and over 250,000 followers on YouTube as of this video. So why am I saying that followers don't really matter? It's not like they don't matter. They do matter, but to an extent. They matter to me because I'm not just interested in catering to or attracting professionals working on cool projects, but I also have an online school, Schoolism, and a convention like Box Expo. Painting software, the Magma Studio app, which are geared towards professionals and every other level of artists, from professionals to hobbyists and even fans. If you're an artist that teaches or does Patreon or does something like that, then having a large follower count can definitely help. Sometimes it's completely necessary in my opinion. But just know that if it's for any of those reasons I just mentioned and your audience are kids, then they may not have the money to support your Patreon or take your classes. So you want to make sure that you're trying to cater to the proper target audience. The other weird thing that I've seen happen more and more is people giving advice about things that they have very little or no experience about. The truth of the matter is, because of the simple fact that I'm involved in all of these things, as well as my own studio, as well as still working on movies and games, that leaves me very little time. But because Schoolism, Magma Studio, and Lightbox Expo are very important to me, I continue to regularly create content every Mondays and Thursdays currently for my YouTube channel, and post just about every day on social media platforms. But if I only concentrated on working on cool projects, you wouldn't see me post nearly as much. And that's what it's like for most professional artists that are doing really well in their careers and working on amazing things. Now, it's not to say that these kind of professional artists aren't out there, because there are definitely a lot out there that do their thing, are on amazing projects, yet post constantly. It's just that they're just a tiny drop in the bucket compared to how many other artists are out there on social media that maybe have not gotten to such levels in their career, but have tons of time to create social media content. For the content creators out there, I feel like this advice can help you as well. If you've been trying to grow with the right subscribers and have longevity on things like YouTube or social media spaces, take it from me, it's all about being genuine. The internet has an amazing way of sifting through what's genuine or not. It also has an amazing way of attracting the same kinds of people. So if you're genuine, you'll attract genuine people. And the people that are not don't tend to stick around anyways, so that's great. If you've only worked at a big studio for 1 or 2 years, or maybe you've never worked for a big studio, don't give any advice on how to get hired for big studios. I've worked with just about every big studio, so that's where my advice comes from, my own experiences. That's why I started doing Schoolism interviews. I would come back to Toronto, Canada after going on a trip. I would talk about and share the experiences of working on a Tim Burton film, working with the multi Oscar winning creative like Ken Ralston. And I would just try to share the things that were really connecting with me, made me think, and was helping me to level up. Not just in my art skills, but in my soft skills as well, like communication, conversation, difficult conversations, and so on. After one of these casual conversations, one of my friends at the time told me the advice that the person learned is so valuable to them that they would share it with everybody else, and that I should share it with everyone else by uploading it to this new site called YouTube. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of share that because that was also why I started Schoolism interviews and interview all of these incredible creative people so that they could share their thoughts and advice. Much of that advice would be things that I would learn from working with them, but now I was able to share them with the rest of the world, which led to more videos and more interviews with artists, creatives that I previously didn't even know or haven't worked with. And then, of course, with my various experiences with successes like Schoolism or the studio, or making my own Emmy-winning TV show, or starting Lightbox Expo, which I highly recommend everybody check out. It's an awesome time. So take it from someone that has a lot of followers, from most people's standards anyways. It's far more about the quality of the followers or friends that you have, rather than the quantity. I would far rather have 500 real friends than 50,000 or 500,000 followers that are strangers. Real friends are invaluable. Subscribers can be important if you do or are involved in the kinds of things that I'm involved in, because it helps to amplify your voice, and really helps if the subscribers engage with your content, like, comment, share, subscribe. This way, the algorithm will deem your content valuable as well and recommend it to others. And really, that's pretty much the only way I can reach new people that don't know me. So if you like this video and you like what I'm doing, go ahead and leave a comment. Give me a like and a subscribe. Just by doing that, you wouldn't be only just helping me, but you'd also be able to keep tabs on what I'm doing and when I put out a new video like this or new artist interviews. Alright everybody. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.